supply water to farms around Fresno. It could increase overall water availability here in the state. Well, 7 astronauts aboard the International Space Station are on high alert because of more than 1,500 pieces of new space debris. And the U.S. government says the space junk was created when Russia destroyed one of its own satellites with a missile. Mark Strassman has more on the dangers.
Good morning. Sorry for the early call. We were recently informed of a satellite breakup.
That was the call received aboard the International Space Station Monday morning, just 5 days after the arrival of 4 new astronauts. The station was under threat. Mission Control asked the astronauts to close the hatches and shelter in their docked spacecraft. According to U.S. officials, a Russian weapons test of an anti-satellite missile destroyed an old Russian satellite in low Earth orbit that reportedly created more than 1,500 pieces of orbital debris, crossing paths with the ISS about every hour and a half. Roughly 20,000 pieces of space debris are monitored by U.S. Space Command, most of it moving at speeds above 17,000 miles per hour. At that speed, a collision can be catastrophic. On Tuesday, State Department spokesman Ned Price slammed the Russian test, calling it reckless and dangerous.
With these 1,500 pieces of trackable orbital debris poses a risk not only to those astronauts, not only to those cosmonauts, but to satellites, to the interests of all nations.
Mission Control says the ISS will remain on alert for the next few days. Mark Strassman, CBS News, Atlanta.
And coming up on Eyewitness News this noon, the president and China talking cooperation as tensions between the two world powers grow, and high gas prices mean more cost to local consumers. The response from Fresno business owners next.
Victims of crimes, people in despair, all left to wait while Fresno's 911 dispatchers are buried in calls. Eyewitness News investigates tonight at 7:30.
The atmosphere in our dispatch center can be very chaotic.
With a 27% deficit in staffing, wait times are growing.
Well, it's unacceptable. Nobody should have to wait 20 minutes.
The issues facing our emergency response system and what needs to be done to fix it. Murrow and Emmy Award-winning Eyewitness News investigates with Ken Malloy and Catherine Herr tonight at 7:30.
This is Mary Ann's first time visiting Paris. Où allez-vous? Before Mary Ann packed her bags, before she attempted her first sentence in French, she downloaded Babbel. So when it came time to tell a cab driver to take her to the Hotel Pierre,
J'aimerais aller à l'Hôtel Pierre.
Oh, c'est très bien. Babbel focuses on natural conversation. You can speak and pronounce with confidence. Start speaking a new language in 3 weeks. Try it for free at Babbel.com.
COVID is an everyday concern, and testing remains critical. If you're traveling, have been exposed, or are having symptoms, Premium Urgent Care offers online appointment setting at convenient Valley locations and same-day test results. Get quality medical care at Premium Urgent Care today.
Pick and Pull would like to introduce you to Dr. Cash.
Doctor of everything green.
Because he just recycled his old junk car.
And I got cash.
Call Pick and Pull at 800-996-4112 and we'll give you cash for your junk car.
Just what the doctor ordered.
800-996-4112.
Shoot.
What's wrong?
I think I'm down to my last inhaler.
Don't worry, you can refill it and get it delivered using the Kaiser Permanente app.
Smart.
Refill most prescriptions online and get delivery for no cost.
If you don't have a primary care doctor for your family, Premium Urgent Care provides all general health services at multiple Valley locations. Set your appointment online and Premium Urgent Care will serve you quickly for the health of those you love. Get quality care at Premium Urgent Care today.
This is exactly what fire crews were afraid of.
This is a dangerous area.
This is what it's like covering a story here in China.
This is CBS 47 Eyewitness News.
Well, this afternoon, President Biden heads to New England to show how a more than $1 trillion infrastructure package will help a small town. And the president signed that bill into law yesterday at a White House ceremony. Hours later, the president had a long-awaited virtual meeting with China's President Xi Jinping. Ed O'Keefe has more.
A late night at the White House and an early morning in Beijing.
All countries have to play by the same rules of the road, why the United States is always going to stand up for our interests and values.
Xi said he's also seeking cooperation.
We should each run our domestic affairs well and work together to advance the noble cause of world peace and development.
A senior administration official said the two leaders discussed human rights, climate change, COVID-19 and the importance of transparency amid a pandemic, economic commitments, and China's military activity around Taiwan. The White House official wouldn't say if China's hypersonic missile test in July was discussed. Recent satellite images show mock American warships in a Chinese desert built possibly for target practice. Gary Locke, who served as ambassador to China during the Obama administration, said China's growing military power is cause for concern.
What they're doing with respect to Taiwan, what they're doing to build up military bases in the South China Sea. So we need to have frank discussions.
One discussion left off the table, a formal invitation to the Beijing Olympics.
Today, we're finally getting this done.
And on Monday, President Biden said the U.S. will be even more competitive against China thanks to passage of the bipartisan infrastructure bill.
Because of this law, next year will be the first year in 20 years American infrastructure investment will grow faster than China's.
Today, the president is set to continue his celebration of that infrastructure bill by visiting rural New Hampshire to talk about how the legislation's going to help rebuild thousands of bridges across the country. He heads to Michigan on Wednesday to talk about how it helps pay for electric vehicles. Ed O'Keefe, CBS News, the White House.
And because of that more than $1 trillion infrastructure bill, California will get around $45 billion. And over the next 5 years, the money will go to wildfire prevention and improving highways and bridges.
This is really, I think, the beginning of investing in our people. And when you invest in the American people, don't ever bet against them, because America has always been able to meet the challenges of the day when we've been willing to make those kinds of investments.
And the infrastructure bill will also invest money into airports, shipping ports, and zero-emission transportation. Well, California gas prices are hitting a record high, and as pump prices surge, local businesses and make deliveries are also feeling the pinch. In Fresno, prices are slightly below average, but sitting around $4.40. And business owners are saying they may need to increase prices to offset their gas costs. Their business.
At the same time, it's hard to bring the cost up to the consumers because then you lose customers. It's a struggle, but we have to make it work.
And business owners say they may also need to increase what they charge due to inflation and the rising costs of goods. Well, coming up on Eyewitness News this noon, COVID and hair loss, digging deeper into the causes of the very unpopular side effect next.
And weather-wise, we're dealing with clearer skies and cool temperatures here over the next several days. Fall really setting in. But first, a look at more in your full forecast. But first, a look at the 4-day allergy forecast brought to you by Ball's Allergy.
Succession's Kieran Culkin plus Tig Notaro.
Which camera is it?
Well, usually with the one with the light on.
None of the lights are on. We're not even taping.
All new Ellen.
Today at 4, only CBS 47.
Paul Mitchell, the School Fresno, is proud to be helping future professionals follow their dreams and reach great goals. We can help you pursue your career in cosmetology or barbering, and financial aid is available to those who qualify. Come make it happen now at Paul Mitchell, the School Fresno.
I was rear-ended at a red light. I called Dunyan Law and it was so easy. Thank you, Dunyan Law. You're amazing.
After I called Dunyan Law, I didn't have to worry anymore.
Call us. It's just that easy.
Call 877-DUNYON, DUNNION.
As parents, we've done everything we can to keep our kids safe, happy, and healthy during this pandemic. From finding their hands are clean. And now we have the best tool to help keep them even safer. The most important thing we can do is vaccinate our kids to protect them against COVID-19. Vaccines have been proven safe and effective for children 5 and up. Talk to your child's doctor or visit myturn.ca.gov to find a vaccine near you.
Hi, I'm Ellie Rosamilia, a Kaiser Permanente Medicare specialist here in California. My mission is to make sure you get high-quality, affordable Medicare health coverage.
That's why Kaiser Permanente Medicare health plans have 0 monthly premium, 0 annual deductible, and 0 copays for preventive care.
And you also get the convenience of hospital care, medical services, and prescription drug coverage all in one plan.
Plus, your choice of hundreds of available Kaiser Permanente doctors, including specialists.
I'm also proud to tell you that here in California, Medicare has given Kaiser Permanente's Medicare Health Plan a 5 out of 5-star rating for the 11th year in a row. That's Medicare's highest possible rating.
To get your free Kaiser Permanente Guide to Medicare, call 1-877-692-3118 or go to kp.org/local now.
I'm Mike Osborne with OsborneHomes.com, and I want to buy your house. I'll make you an as-is cash offer on your house within 24 hours. Whether it's a total fixer-upper or in perfect condition, OsborneHomes.com is the easiest way to sell your house. When you sell your house to OsborneHomes.com, there's no fees, no commissions, no banks, and no repairs. Just go to OsborneHomes.com for a free, no obligation cash offer 24 hours a day. That's OsborneHomes.com.
'Twas the night before Chuck Chauncey Gold's $440,000 Merry Cashmas and Cars giveaway. And Santa's getting ready to give away carloads of cash.
Now until December 24th, at every Cashmas and Cars drawing, 4 winners will select ornaments worth $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, or $3,000 in cash. Drawings are Thursdays and Fridays at 8, 9, and 10 p.m. Leading up to the grand finale drawing at 10 p.m. on Christmas Eve, 2 winners will get brand new 2021 Fords. Only at Chuck Chauncey Gold Resort.
News is brought to you in part by Les Schwab. Now, your CBS 47 pinpoint weather forecast.
Welcome back. I'm Anthony Bailey here with a check of your forecast on this Tuesday. A beautiful day developing across the Central Valley. Now that the fog is finally lifting across the area, let's show you what we're seeing there. We'll take you up to the mountains this hour on a valley cam. A really peaceful view out there. Great day for a hike, and I'll tell you, the mountains, they sit above the fog, so we haven't had to deal with much of that. Clear conditions in the higher elevations, and even back on the valley floor now that dense fog advisory was allowed to expire at the top of the hour. We have certainly seen our fair share of fog across the region, though. We're dealing with 3-mile visibility right now for Fresno up to the 7-mile mark there in Hanford, and 4-mile visibility there in Visalia. As you can see, temperatures back into the mid to upper 50s up and down the valley floor. 59 degrees this afternoon in Lemoore. Good afternoon to you there. 56 in Los Banos. 57 in Fresno, 64 as you head into Wawona. Keep in mind, they're not dealing with the fog there in the higher elevations, so the sun really hitting there and really warming things up across the higher elevations. The same for our friends in the Hume Lake area as well as Shaver. On the valley floor, you're dealing with more of that ground layer of fog there, so you're going to see the sun warming things up a little bit slower and cooler temperatures really about all across the valley floor, similar to what we saw for the start of the week on yesterday. In fact, yesterday, we hit a high of 64 degrees. 65 is normal for this time of year, and the record sits back in the upper 70s. Dense fog, of course, is something we deal with through the early morning hours. Should see less of that as we progress through the rest of the week. We've seen systems swinging through the state. We'll have a few more here before the work week is over. Not talking rain, but we are talking some wind and cloud cover over the next couple of days. We'll see 60 staying with us at least through Wednesday, and then likely seeing slightly cooler conditions a little closer to the 60-degree mark as we approach the weekend. Cloud cover there in the satellite picture right now, moving through Central and parts of Southern California. We will continue to see pretty quiet conditions on the rain front. As far as future fogcast goes, going into tomorrow, could see some bouts with some patchy fog again early through that morning commute, and then once again clearing into the afternoon there as well. Here's a look at your wood burning forecast. You'll have to have registered devices for Madera and Fresno County. No restrictions to the north and south of that. And when we give you a look at what's going on with your with your air quality, we're talking good air quality range in Merced County and also Kings County, but moderate air quality for Madera, Fresno, and Tulare, along with Sequoia there. Highs for today, mid-60s along the valley floor, 59 degrees in Shaver, but we do make the jump to 70 for the Yosemite Valley. You can see the week ahead shows temperatures will tick up slightly, not quite to the 70-degree mark by Thursday, but we'll sure get close before cooling off again for the weekend. Now, at the 5,000-foot mark, we're talking 50s. Fast forward to the weekend, we are looking at frigid, freezing temperatures overnight there in the mountains with a high of 50 degrees by Saturday, 55 there by next Monday. In the valley floor, if you're making plans to get away for the weekend, you're talking mid-60s by Friday, down to 63 degrees Saturday, and those overnight lows will dip down to about 45. So chilly weather, not freezing weather in the valley floor yet, but still a sweater and the jacket as you head out to school or work in the morning.
And we have, I think, some of these nighttime holiday events are starting to happen.
Definitely bundle up for those. Take a scarf and a coat with you for sure. No doubt about it.
That is chilly, and we're glad that some of that fog is easing for us in parts of that, because that was rough this morning, and we are encouraging people to just take it slow, stay safe, and it is feeling like holiday weather out there. That's for sure. All right, Anthony, thank you. Well, new studies show COVID-19 can cause hair loss. Doctors say the condition is a temporary form of your hair going into the shedding phase. They say it can show up months after childbirth, crash dieting, prolonged illness, and now also COVID-19.
If your body is in a state of major physiologic stress where it's doing everything it can just to survive, you know, then it's going to come at a cost of some of the more accessory organs like your hair follicles.
Yikes. And doctors are also seeing problems with your fingernails, too. They say the virus interrupts nail growth, causing horizontal dents and ridges. And experts say it's important to not panic and instead just talk to a board-certified dermatologist if you're experiencing any problems. And in the meantime, experts suggest adding a multivitamin to your diet. Of course, just want to talk to your doctor before you do that. Well, up next on Eyewitness News this noon, this is the all-call. Santa is looking for a little help getting gifts out this year. You can take part in a very special and serious Christmas operation. Stay with us. You're watching Eyewitness News at noon. We'll be right back.
What do we got today, boss? Sign of the apocalypse?
Could be.
Blood's not his.
If the owner of that boot's still alive, it won't be for long.
What happened? Someone kill a unicorn?
There's so much blood in such an abnormal pattern. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a fiber.
It doesn't matter what people believe to be true. It matters what is true.
A new CSI Vegas, Wednesday, 10/9 Central on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus.
I have 4 boys. And with one of them who is going to be learning to drive, it is very important to have good insurance.
When we bundled our car insurance and our home insurance, we saved hundreds of dollars.
You don't have to dial 1-800, please hold. Personal Express is really, really nice people.
Personal Express Insurance, with offices in Fresno, Clovis, and Visalia.
When it's hard to find work, I work harder.
I'm doing what I can to get by.
There's one thing you might be missing.
Huh?
CalFresh, the statewide program that helps you buy food when money's tight. Use it in stores or online.
But I'm not totally broke.
You can have some income.
That would make paying bills easier.
Easier than those delivery instructions. Apply in 10 minutes at calfreshfood.org.
Fall allergy season has started with grass and weed pollen and high levels of mold in the air. Air pollution makes allergy symptoms worse. Boz Allergy knows coughing, wheezing, and headaches due to allergies and asthma can mimic COVID-19 symptoms, and flu season is starting. Come to Boz Allergy at the first sign of symptoms. Rest assured we'll diagnose and treat you accurately. Stay safe and stay healthy. Contact Boz Allergy today and breathe easier.
Your mission. Stand up to moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis and take it on with Rinvoq. Rinvoq, a once-daily pill, can dramatically improve symptoms. Rinvoq helps tame pain, stiffness, swelling, and for some, Rinvoq can even significantly reduce RA fatigue. That's Rinvoq relief. With RA, your overactive immune system attacks your joints. Rinvoq regulates it to help stop the attack.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious infections and blood clots, sometimes fatal, have occurred, as have certain cancers, including lymphoma, and tears in the stomach or intestines, and changes in lab results. Your doctor should monitor your blood work. Tell your doctor about any infections if you are or may become pregnant.
Take on RA. Talk to your rheumatologist about Rinvoq. Make it your mission.
Learn how AbbVie could help you save on Rinvoq.
47 Eyewitness News anytime. Go to
As helpers this year, the U.S. volunteer registration for the yesterday. Now,
health nutrient. Qnol, the better CoQ10.
I got hurt bad at a car accident, and now I need surgery.
And he can't work as he used to. What are we supposed to do now?
Here's what you do. Call us. Your bills don't pay themselves. To yourself and your family.
I did something about it. I called Dunyan Law, and they got me an incredible settlement.
Money doesn't solve everything, but it sure can help.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, call us. It's just that easy.
Call 877-DUNYON, DUNNION.
I was denied my Social Security disability claim, even though I can't work.
I'm so frustrated dealing with the government, and the last thing I want is some faceless lawyer
on the phone. I want personal attention.
Someone experienced
who knows our local legal system
and will fight for me.
When you can't work, the law offices of Robert Ishikawa will fight to get you Social Security disability benefits. Call 559-477-4487. Social Security disability is all we do.
The sun has always powered life. And now it powers our latest innovation to heat and cool your home more efficiently. Introducing the world's only solar-powered home energy system, which saves you up to half off your heating and cooling bill.
Here now at Donald P. Dick Air Conditioning. Get the latest in home comfort and energy savings with Mr. Cool. Get up to $13.75 in rebates or special financing.
Now you're CentralValley.com, pros who know.
At United Health Centers, you will find quality care in medical, dental, optometry, chiropractic, urgent care services, and more. Visit us today for all of your healthcare needs.
For more expert advice, go to yourcentralvalley.com/pros who know.
Maria Shriver plus Chef Spike